Hello, graceful Libra. If you think June 24th and 25th are simply another pair of dates passing quietly across the calendar, there is a good chance you are overlooking something far more significant that has already begun unfolding around you. The shift itself is not loud, and it does not arrive with fireworks or sudden disruptions. Instead, it moves like the first light before sunrise, subtle enough to miss if you are distracted, yet impossible to ignore once you truly see it. While many people may move through these days without noticing anything unusual, you are standing close enough to feel that something important is settling into place. Over the past several days, pieces that once felt scattered have slowly begun arranging themselves into a clearer picture. What started as a feeling you could not quite explain is becoming easier to recognize. You may not have all the answers yet, but you can sense that certain conversations, relationships, and priorities are carrying a different weight than they were only a short time ago. The energy is no longer asking you to search endlessly for meaning. It is asking you to notice what is already revealing itself. The doorway opened by the solstice may have captured everyone's attention, but that is no longer the central story. The more important question now is, what has begun stepping through that doorway and proving it deserves a place in your life? As Cancer season settles more deeply into the collective atmosphere, the noise begins to soften. What remains becomes easier to hear: your intuition, your emotional truth, and the quiet awareness of who and what consistently brings you peace. You may have noticed yourself craving different things lately. Not more attention, not more excitement, and not another distraction competing for your energy. Instead, there is a growing desire for sincerity, for conversations that actually mean something, for people who listen as much as they speak, and for connections that feel balanced rather than one-sided. If these feelings have been growing stronger, there is a reason, and before this video is over, you'll understand why. First, though, you need to understand why these next few days carry such a unique quality. Most people will experience this energy without ever stopping to question why their priorities suddenly seem different. They will continue moving through their routines, unaware that a rare combination of influences is quietly reshaping how trust, commitment, partnership, and emotional security are experienced. Yet somewhere inside, you already sensed that a shift was coming. Think back over the past few weeks. Have you noticed how certain forms of chaos have started losing their grip? Situations that once felt tangled and confusing may suddenly seem easier to understand. Questions that seemed impossible to answer are beginning to reveal clues, and relationships that felt uncertain are slowly showing their true nature. None of this is random. For much of Gemini season, attention was scattered in every direction at once. Your mind was pulled toward new information, endless conversations, competing opinions, and a constant stream of distractions. It became difficult to tell the difference between what genuinely deserved your focus and what was simply demanding it. Energy was being spent everywhere, often without creating the sense of fulfillment you were hoping to find. Then something started to change. Almost imperceptibly at first, the emotional atmosphere began softening. Conversations became less about filling silence and more about creating understanding. Small talk lost some of its appeal, while authentic exchanges became increasingly valuable. The people who truly know you started feeling more important than the people who merely occupy space around you. Without consciously planning it, many Libras have already started moving closer to what feels emotionally honest. You may have found yourself stepping away from situations that drain your energy and gravitating toward those that offer genuine reciprocity. There is a growing awareness that not every connection deserves equal access to your heart, your time, or your attention. That realization alone marks an important turning point. Everything you have been feeling has been part of a larger preparation process. The ground beneath your feet has been quietly stabilizing, even when it did not seem that way. Certain lessons needed time to settle. Certain truths needed room to reveal themselves. And certain relationships needed an opportunity to show whether they were built on genuine effort or temporary convenience. The energy surrounding June 24th and 25th does not arrive through dramatic breakthroughs. Its strength comes from recognition. It grows through clarity, trust, and repeated evidence rather than promises. Instead of pushing you to chase validation, compete for attention, or constantly prove your worth. It invites you to recognize what is already showing signs of consistency and stability. That is one of the most important lessons unfolding now. Not everything valuable enters your life with excitement and intensity. Sometimes the most meaningful opportunities arrive quietly, revealing themselves through reliability, honesty, and mutual effort. They do not demand that you abandon yourself to keep them. They simply continue showing up. This season carries a very different message from the restless energy that came before it. Instead of pulling your attention in a dozen directions at once, it encourages you to slow down and notice what feels balanced, consistent, and real. It asks you to pay attention to who meets you halfway, who values your effort, and which connections continue showing up when convenience is no longer enough. More than anything, it encourages you to invest your energy where something meaningful can take root, rather than where excitement quickly burns itself out. For many people, the shift has been subtle, yet beneath the surface, important changes have been unfolding for weeks, gradually reshaping priorities, relationships, and emotional awareness. What makes this moment significant is not that something entirely new is arriving. It is that what has been quietly developing is beginning to reveal its true nature. Recent planetary movements have been creating conditions that favor growth, understanding, and emotional maturity. The energy has encouraged people to look beyond appearances and pay closer attention to what genuinely supports their well-being. Opportunities for deeper connection, healthier relationship patterns, and stronger self-worth have been building steadily, often in ways that were easy to overlook at first. Many of the conversations, realizations, and emotional shifts that seemed small at the time may now be showing their larger purpose. Certain relationships may be revealing greater depth. Certain choices may suddenly appear more important than they once seemed. Looking back, you may even recognize moments that felt ordinary then, but now appear connected to a much larger process that has been unfolding all along. What is especially important to understand is that this energy was never about temporary excitement or emotional highs. Its deeper purpose has always been growth. It has encouraged greater honesty, healthier dynamics, and a clearer understanding of what truly deserves your time, trust, and emotional investment. Instead of feeding uncertainty, it has been quietly strengthening stability. This influence has also carried a powerful healing quality. It has encouraged old emotional wounds to soften their hold on the future and created opportunities to release patterns built around fear, self-sacrifice, or the belief that your worth must constantly be proven. Little by little, it has been creating space for experiences, relationships, and opportunities that allow you to feel appreciated for who you are, rather than for how much you are willing to give. That is why the energy surrounding June 24th and 25 feels different. The focus is no longer on possibility alone. The focus is on confirmation. What has been growing beneath the surface is beginning to reveal whether it has the strength, consistency, and integrity to remain part of your life. This is the stage where intentions become actions, where promises reveal their substance, and where potential begins transforming into something more tangible. Some situations are becoming clearer. Some connections are proving their value through consistency rather than words. And some opportunities are showing whether they are built on genuine foundations or simply temporary emotions. The energy now favors recognition over speculation, helping you see what is truly aligned with your future. At the same time, another important influence has quietly entered the picture. Chiron, known in astrology as the wounded healer, has recently moved into Taurus, beginning a very different chapter of growth and healing. While the shift may not have attracted widespread attention, its impact reaches deeply into the foundations of daily life, self-worth, security, and the relationship you have with yourself. Unlike the lessons of recent years, which focused heavily on identity and self-definition, this new phase asks how securely those lessons are rooted in reality. It is one thing to understand your value intellectually. It is another thing entirely to build habits, relationships, boundaries, and choices that reflect that understanding every day. And that is exactly where this next chapter begins to unfold. For nearly 8 years, Chiron traveled through Aries, bringing lesson after lesson around identity, independence, courage, and self-definition. It asked difficult questions. Who are you when no one is validating you? What parts of yourself have you hidden in order to fit in, avoid rejection, or keep the peace? Where have you doubted your right to take up space, speak your truth, or exist exactly as you are? Those questions have not always been easy, and for many people they have felt exhausting at times. Now the energy shifts. Instead of focusing on who you are, Chiron in Taurus begins asking how securely you are rooted in that understanding. The attention moves from identity to embodiment. It is one thing to know your worth intellectually. It is something entirely different to feel it in your body, trust it in your decisions, and build a life that reflects it every single day. Taurus is deeply connected to the physical experience of living. It governs the body, the senses, comfort, security, finances, personal values, and the resources that help you feel grounded. Because of that, the healing taking place now becomes far more tangible. You may have noticed a stronger desire to rest instead of constantly pushing yourself. You may find yourself craving nourishing food, healthier routines, calmer environments, or relationships that feel emotionally safe rather than emotionally draining. What makes this shift especially powerful is that it encourages you to stop treating healing as something that only happens in your mind. The lessons you have learned over the past several years are asking to become real. They want to show up in your habits, your boundaries, your self-care, your finances, and the way you allow others to treat you. Chiron in Taurus asks a simple but profound question. If you truly know your worth, how would your life begin to look different? The timing of all this is remarkable. Chiron's move into Taurus occurred just before several larger energetic shifts began unfolding. It feels almost as if the universe focused on strengthening the roots before asking the tree to grow taller. Preparation came first. Stability came first. The foundation was reinforced before new opportunities were invited to emerge. This is why the energy of late June feels so different from what came before. The emphasis is no longer on endless movement, constant stimulation, or searching for answers outside yourself. Instead, there is a growing invitation to slow down enough to recognize what already feels solid. Rather than racing toward the next possibility, you are being encouraged to notice what has quietly been earning your trust. At the same time, Cancer season has introduced an entirely different emotional layer. As the sun moved into Cancer, attention naturally shifted away from external noise and toward the inner world. People began paying closer attention to what feels meaningful, what feels nurturing, and what creates a genuine sense of belonging. Priorities that once seemed urgent started losing some of their importance, while emotional truth became harder to ignore. This shift carries a question that many people are still in the process of answering. What truly makes you feel safe? Not temporarily distracted, not validated for a moment. Truly safe. What relationships allow you to relax instead of perform? What environments allow you to be yourself rather than constantly adapting to meet expectations? For many Libras, this question has become increasingly difficult to avoid. You may find yourself reevaluating certain connections, examining long-standing patterns, or recognizing that some relationships feel balanced while others leave you carrying more than your share. The desire for harmony remains strong, but your definition of harmony may be changing. You are beginning to understand that real balance cannot exist if one person is always giving while the other is always receiving. Soon after Cancer season began, the sun formed a supportive aspect to Chiron, creating a powerful opportunity for healing. Symbolically, this connection illuminated the bridge between past pain and future growth. It became easier to see how some of your deepest wounds have also shaped some of your greatest strengths. The experiences that once made you question yourself may have also taught you empathy, wisdom, resilience, and compassion. Beneath all the symbolism, the message is beautifully simple. Your worth has never depended on perfection. You do not need to become flawless before you deserve love, respect, support, or understanding. You do not need to prove your value through constant effort. The very qualities you may have worried would make you vulnerable are often the same qualities that allow genuine connection to form. This is where the healing becomes personal. Many people spend years believing they must earn their place in relationships. They become experts at accommodating others, anticipating needs, and avoiding conflict. Yet true connection begins when you trust that your presence alone is enough. The energy surrounding this period encourages exactly that kind of trust. Openness becomes a strength rather than a liability. Emotional honesty becomes an invitation rather than a risk. The willingness to let people see the real you creates space for relationships built on authenticity instead of performance. And that shift changes everything. At the same time, another important influence entered the story. The first quarter moon in Libra brought a very different kind of lesson. While Cancer energy encourages reflection and emotional awareness, Libra energy asks what you are going to do with those feelings. It highlights partnership, cooperation, commitment, fairness, and the choices required to create genuine balance. This is where awareness must become action. It is not enough to recognize what needs to change. The energy asks you to have the conversation you have been postponing. It asks you to establish the boundary you have been hesitating to set. It asks you to express your needs clearly, make the decision you already know is necessary, or take the next step towards something meaningful. For Libra, this influence feels especially significant because it touches themes that already live close to your heart. Relationships matter to you, balance matters to you, mutual understanding matters to you. Yet one of the most important lessons unfolding now is that harmony is not created by avoiding discomfort. Sometimes harmony is created by telling the truth. When intention is matched by action, something powerful begins to happen. The desire for stability becomes more than a wish. The desire for connection becomes more than an idea. Real growth begins taking shape in visible ways, supported by choices that align with your values rather than your fears. Together, all of these influences are weaving into a larger story. Healing is strengthening self-worth. Self-worth is improving relationships. Relationships are revealing where reciprocity exists and where it does not. Clarity is replacing confusion, and trust is gradually replacing uncertainty. Libra, if your sun, moon, or rising sign falls here, these themes may feel especially personal. The recent planetary movements are illuminating questions around partnership, balance, cooperation, emotional honesty, and mutual effort. The focus is not on attracting attention or proving your worth to anyone. The focus is on recognizing who is genuinely willing to stand beside you with the same sincerity, consistency, and care that you so freely offer others. The momentum that began earlier this month is helping reveal where true alignment exists. Little by little, the masks are falling away. People are showing you who they are through actions rather than promises. Situations are revealing whether they are built on real foundations or temporary emotions. As this happens, qualities that may have felt underappreciated in the past begin receiving a different kind of recognition. Your diplomacy, your empathy, your fairness, your ability to see multiple perspectives, your desire to create peace without sacrificing authenticity. These qualities are becoming easier for others to recognize and value because they are being expressed from a place of confidence rather than self-sacrifice. People are responding to something real, not a performance, not a carefully managed image. They are responding to authenticity, and authenticity has a quiet magnetism that does not need to force itself into the spotlight. If you are single, this period may bring greater clarity about the kind of relationship you truly want to create. Surface-level attraction may feel less compelling than emotional maturity, consistency, and mutual effort. The focus shifts from finding someone exciting to finding someone capable of building something meaningful alongside you. If you are already in a relationship, the energy supports stronger communication, greater understanding, and a renewed commitment to working as a team. Issues that once felt difficult to navigate may begin revealing solutions. Conversations that once seemed uncomfortable may become opportunities for growth. The emphasis is not on perfection, it is on strengthening what already has the potential to last. The growth unfolding now is not limited to relationships alone. As Venus and later Jupiter continue their movement into Leo, attention gradually shifts toward confidence, personal value, and financial stability. What begins to strengthen in this area of life provides practical support for the future you want to create. The result is not simply more abundance, but a stronger sense that your external circumstances are starting to reflect your inner worth. While some signs experience this energy through emotional healing or family matters, others feel it through partnership, opportunity, or self-discovery. The important thing to understand is that the recent shifts are encouraging people to build stronger foundations rather than chase temporary highs. What has been uncertain is becoming easier to define, and what has been growing quietly beneath the surface is beginning to reveal its true direction. For some, this period highlights private healing. Old emotional patterns, long-standing family dynamics, and unresolved memories may rise into awareness, not to overwhelm you, but to be understood differently. The energy supports creating greater peace within yourself and within the spaces where you spend your daily life. Stability becomes something you cultivate rather than something you wait to receive. For others, relationship energy becomes especially significant. Instead of dramatic displays or intense emotional swings, meaningful connection is found through consistency, trust, and shared effort. The strongest bonds are strengthened through ordinary moments, thoughtful gestures, and the willingness to protect what matters. Genuine closeness grows through reliability rather than performance. As the month continues, themes of joy, affection, and emotional openness become easier to access. What begins as healing may gradually evolve into a more confident willingness to receive support, appreciation, and connection. Some people may find themselves entering a more playful chapter in love, while others simply discover a deeper sense of comfort with who they are becoming. For those whose attention is often directed toward goals, responsibilities, and long-term plans, the focus may shift toward partnership and cooperation. Commitments take on greater importance, and relationships that have been developing steadily can begin showing clearer signs of permanence. This is less about sudden romance and more about recognizing where trust has already been built over time. The influence of the earlier Venus-Jupiter alignment continues to echo through these experiences. Connections that have developed patiently may now feel stronger and more defined. Plans made together, shared responsibilities, and mutual goals carry greater weight. What once seemed uncertain can begin taking a more recognizable shape. As the month moves forward, another layer is added to the story. Mercury's upcoming retrograde invites reflection on past conversations, unfinished emotional business, and connections that may still have something meaningful to teach. In some cases, people from the past return, not simply to reopen old chapters, but to reveal how much growth has taken place since those chapters began. And for everyone, regardless of sign, the energy extends beyond a few selected groups. Taurus may feel called toward a deeper relationship with self-worth and stability. Pisces may notice increased inspiration in both love and creativity, while Scorpio may find it easier to trust dependable support. Gemini is encouraged to raise expectations and recognize what truly meets their standards. Leo is approaching a powerful period of visibility, confidence, and opportunity. Virgo may discover that meaningful connection develops through friendships and shared communities. Libra may feel a stronger push toward relationship decisions, honest conversations, and visible steps forward in partnership. Sagittarius is invited into deeper emotional honesty, while Aquarius may find profound meaning in small daily acts of care and devotion. Every sign is touched by this larger pattern in some way. Yet what many people overlook is that emotional momentum alone cannot sustain long-term growth. The excitement of a breakthrough eventually gives way to a more important question. Can what feels good today continue to support you tomorrow? That is why June 25th becomes such an important turning point. On this day, Venus forms a stabilizing trine with Saturn, creating one of the most grounding influences of this entire period. Symbolically, this alignment asks whether relationships, commitments, and opportunities have the structure necessary to endure. It marks the difference between promises that sound beautiful and promises that are actually lived. Under this influence, emotions are not diminished, they are strengthened through consistency. Words carry greater meaning when they are matched by action, and intentions become more valuable when they are supported by follow-through. The same principle applies to financial and practical decisions made during this time, as the energy encourages a rare balance between heartfelt desire and sound judgment. There is, however, an important detail that deserves your attention. On the same day that Venus forms its stabilizing connection with Saturn, the Sun creates a challenging aspect to Neptune, and the atmosphere becomes noticeably less clear. This is where strong intuition can easily blend with hopeful assumptions, making it harder to distinguish what is truly unfolding from what you wish were true. Emotions may feel persuasive, especially in matters of love, partnership, and expectation. That is why a little patience becomes incredibly valuable during this period. Before making any major commitment, ask the extra question, seek the missing information, and give situations enough time to reveal their full shape. Trust your instincts, but allow facts to stand beside them. A beautiful possibility deserves verification before it becomes a permanent decision. As the month continues, another important shift arrives. On June 29th, Mercury begins its retrograde journey in Cancer, opening a period devoted to reflection, reconciliation, and emotional honesty. Conversations left unfinished may return. Family dynamics may ask for attention, and truths that have remained beneath the surface may finally be ready to be spoken. The energy supports repairing connections and creating a healthier relationship with the past. Only hours later, a full moon in Capricorn introduces a necessary counterbalance. While recent weeks have emphasized emotional security, relationships, and inner stability, this lunation redirects attention toward goals, responsibilities, and long-term achievement. It serves as a reminder that caring for your personal life does not require abandoning your ambitions. Balance is created when both parts of your life are given the attention they deserve. Then another major chapter begins. On June 30th, Jupiter leaves Cancer and enters Leo for the first time since 2014, beginning a 13-month cycle that extends well into the summer of 2027. This transition marks a noticeable change in focus. The growth that has been happening internally now begins seeking expression in the outer world, where Jupiter in Cancer emphasizes emotional security, personal healing, and the foundations of life. Jupiter in Leo encourages confidence, creativity, visibility, leadership, and self-expression. The energy becomes more radiant, more courageous, and more willing to be seen. What has been developing quietly behind the scenes gains opportunities to step into the light. For air signs and fire signs in particular, this shift can feel especially significant. New doors begin opening around recognition, personal influence, creative pursuits, and opportunities that invite greater visibility. The months ahead support taking healthy risks, trusting your abilities, and allowing your authentic presence to occupy more space. What grows now has the potential to shape the year ahead in meaningful ways. When you look at the larger story, a clear pattern begins to emerge. First came the healing, then the strengthening of your foundations, and then the gradual creation of greater stability. Only after those pieces began falling into place did the next invitation appear. The journey was never about standing still, it was about becoming strong enough to move forward with confidence. Earlier in this video, I mentioned that there was a reason certain feelings had been growing stronger. The desire for peace, balance, emotional honesty, and meaningful connection was not appearing randomly. You were responding to a larger shift already moving through your life. What felt like uncertainty was often preparation. You were not becoming disconnected from the world. You were learning to recognize what genuinely deserves your attention and energy. The same influences that have encouraged healing, clarity, and stronger relationships have also been helping you release burdens that never truly belonged to you. Quietly and steadily, space has been opening for something more aligned with who you are becoming. Many people will only recognize these changes after they have already transformed their circumstances. They may look back months later and wonder when everything started feeling different. But you sensed the movement before it became obvious. You noticed the subtle changes, the shifting priorities, and the growing awareness that something important was taking shape beneath the surface. That awareness matters. It allows you to participate consciously instead of simply reacting to events after they happen. The choices you make now, the standards you establish, the relationships you nurture, and the commitments you accept all contribute to the foundation being built beneath your future. What deserves a place in your life is gradually revealing itself. The opportunity is here, and so is the responsibility that comes with it. Clarity is becoming stronger, balance is becoming easier to recognize, and the path ahead is beginning to show its shape. What is meant to remain is proving itself through consistency, trust, and genuine effort. If this message resonated with you and brought insight or encouragement, consider subscribing for more videos like this. Your support helps this space continue to grow and reach others who may need these messages as well. Feel free to share your thoughts or experiences in the comments below, and if this content has brought value to your journey, you can also support the channel through the link in the description or the QR code on screen. A heartfelt thank you to everyone who continues to support this channel. Your kindness helps keep these messages available for people seeking clarity, encouragement, and connection.